Well, hello everybody. Let's do another CIRF report. A revolutionary new moon is coming up and a whole week of revolutionary thought and urges, and I'll show you why. This is for the week of January 23rd to 29th, 2025. We've got to get ready for a common theme that runs across the whole week. So as we know, the new moon is in there, and that's in Aquarius, but that's at the end of the week. And so what gives? Why is revolution so dominant? Is just for that one day? No. At the very beginning of the week, I have an unusual alignment to show you. And all of these alignments throughout the week, the common thread is Mercury and Aquarius. Some form of Aquarius all week long. So at the beginning of the week, we have this easy opposition with Mercury. Mercury's not yet in Aquarius. Then Mercury goes into Aquarius. Then we have a new moon with Aquarius there. So the common theme across the board, Mercury and Aquarius. It's a revolution, baby. Radical, paradigm-shifting thoughts, communication, and urges. The Dreambot seems to match this Mercury theme because it's all about comms and information, communication information. And then there's this extreme theme of words using extremes like T-O-O, and that kind of thing. I'm going to be pausing our video occasionally because I find myself wheezing. A little bit of congestion, nothing major, but anyway, yeah, I think we have enough. Let's get going. A big shout out to Conscious Hat, and we have the Best Comment Award from last week. I do the Irish Goodbye regularly. I'm January 22nd birthday. Well, it sort of makes sense from an Aquarian standpoint, right? And very early Aquarian would say that. So if you're watching this on the 22nd, Conscious Hat, happy birthday to you, and congratulations for the Best Comment Award. All right, here's the Dreambot. As promised, just make it real quick. The blue arrows are all represent extremes, like absolutes, like never, and close, last, ever, very, to, best. So, and then the red arrows are about information and communicating. So it's very Mercury oriented. All right, in our eclipse cycle, we're kind of getting on the back half with a new moon here. It's at the end of our CIRF week. We are in this shaded area. Just a reminder, the next eclipse will be March 14th. So we're on the countdown for that. That's a lunar eclipse. And then we'll have a solar eclipse, changes everything up. March 29th in Aries. Now, since we're on this kind of wide spectrum, we're going to funnel down into our day by day. But before I do, I want to stay on this big picture because this week we have a special alignment I'm not going to pay a lot of attention to, but it's a really important one that runs in the background from now all the way to March 29th. And that is, let me expand this out. Right here over the North Node. North Node in Pisces is creating a tight conjunction with Neptune. And not that it starts this week. It's been starting in like a loose orb for quite some time. But now it's getting into this terminal stage. And so precognition, North Node representing sort of the future, and Neptune in Pisces is going to be like very, very dreamy spiritualism, escapism, but precognitive dreams when you include the future, North Node, and dreams. And then in Pisces is going to be very, dreamy, but like oneness and how we're all going to get along with each other. those predictive dreams will be profound, especially as we get into, can't wait to show you this. This is obviously outside of our CIRF week, but I just wanted to show you these future dates. This is February 1st, 2025, over the North Node at 28 degrees of Pisces. You have Venus, Moon, and Neptune, all there, right there in a really tight conjunction. So this is obviously an extreme, with Venus exalted, obviously the Moon doing well in water signs, and Neptune in home. It is profoundly spiritual, profoundly prophetic. So pay attention to your dreams, especially as we get closer to the 1st of February. And and even though Venus and the Moon and those planets will be far gone, you'll still have Neptune and the North Node still valid all the way until March 29th. And on that day, on the day of the eclipse, you'll see Neptune right like 2 minutes prior to shifting over into Aries and starting a cycle over again. So anyway, pay attention to your dreams this week and getting more profound on February 1st, and then all the way record these dreams. You'll see them spewing out like prophecy and precognition and all these guesses about, and very vivid dreams, especially things that have to do with our interconnectedness and us, where we go one, we'll go all kind of mentality. All right, now let's funnel down into this week. And just big picture, you have these two vertical black lines. This is the beginning of the week. Towards the end, you have Mercury going into Aquarius. That's why we have Mercury conjunct the new moon on the 29th. And then look at these alignments that go together. This is our easy opposition on the 23rd. And that's where we'll begin our journey. But this is the intensity chart. It starts off pretty intense. This is the radical paradigm shifting urges, thoughts, communication, all the Mercury things are pretty high here because we have Uranus and Mercury in an alignment. And it starts to wane off until Mercury on Monday goes into Aquarius. So that's why you have this vertical increase in intensity. And it continues to get the most intense on Wednesday. That's where the new moon is, conjunct with everything else. All right, let's give it a start on Thursday, the 23rd. Look at all this darkened area. Look at all these planets, Mercury, Uranus, Mars, what this alignment is called. It's not really all that unusual to have these alignments. Go look at your natal charts. There's going to be a lot of you that have this alignment. It's called a single ambivalence. It's also called an easy opposition because you have an opposition, which normally is a conflicted type of energy, but you have a trine. And then the trine goes over to the apex, which is sort of your easy escape, or it softens the blow of the conflict. It gives you kind of a temporary reprieve, if you will. And then you have a sextile back over to the other planet. What's unusual about this one, I myself, in my natal chart, I have two of these easy oppositions. And we're going to delineate this so that if you do have one of your own, you can kind of figure out what that means and how to use it. But what's special about this easy opposition, that all three of these planets are exact, they go exact in their orb all today, Thursday the 23rd. This one, this chart is Mercury trine Uranus. So this trine right here is exact at 4:07 p.m. But Mercury opposed Mars. This goes exact at 2:48. That's a little over an hour apart. And then Mars sextile, this sextile goes exact in the morning, 9:07 a.m. But all in one day, all these planets, and actually in a half a day, all these planets will go exact. And that's what makes this, it like lights up all at the same time. My easy orbs in my natal chart are, like a 5-6 degree orb, sometimes 7 degree orb. So not that it's irrelevant, but it's not nearly as strong as this here. So remember when I said we had all week long a Mercury and an Aquarius type of thing? Well, we start off the Thursday, the 23rd, with Mercury trine Uranus, Uranus being the ruler of Aquarius. So there you have it. You have the rebel is the apex on this easy opposition. And I have to press pause. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. All right. All right, so you have the opposition. Now this is the conflict, Mercury and Mars. And because it's the opposition, the conflicted planets are Mars and Mercury. It's the achieving mind versus the protective emotions. It's practical goals versus actively defending what I already have or already care about, protecting my homeland. And then Uranus is the apex. So when you get this discontent about the conflict, in the inner conflict, then it's easy to see the rebel coming in. The Uranus outlet becomes subconsciously, it's really automatic. So suddenly, instead of feeling conflicted, you appear to others like inventing something new or bucking the system. Or, since Uranus is in Taurus, maybe chewing your cud, like thinking about the thing, or isolating yourself so that you can really think about it, overthink about it, etc. But remember, when you have your apex planet, whatever that is for your particular easy opposition, if you have one, it never really solves anything. So this rebel, or just do things different, or be unique, whatever the Uranus traits coming out are, never really solves anything. So after this activity, or after this attempt at being a little more Uranus, then you realize that this conflict is still there. And so that's why they call it an easy opposition, because the apex softens this conflict is all. But this one in particular is very radical. It's very supports the revolution kind of thing, because the apex, Uranus, is the rebel. Oh, and here's our picture. And we include Mercury in there, and we include being different, and he's on Mars. So there you go. All right, we have, oh, by the way, this rebellious, easy opposition thing, this alignment will stay, it'll start to weaken, obviously, because it all comes alive at the same time, but it'll really go away when Mercury goes into Aquarius. Big picture, we start off the week with the moon in a waning crescent, and because this is the post-last quarter moon, it's after the last quarter moon, and then we're headed to a new moon. So it'll hit the sun in Aquarius to create the new moon. So most of this week is going to be the waning crescent period. All right, now shifting gears into water, you have Venus in Pisces, exalted in Pisces at 22 degrees, trines over to Mars. And this blends the energies of love and compassion with assertiveness, nurturing, and more protective instincts. Not just feeling togetherness and oneness, that's the Venus in Pisces, but also feels the need to forcefully defend and passionately care about others or for others. It encourages us to lead with our hearts, express our feelings openly, create a safe, supportive environment for emotional intimacy to thrive. You might feel on this day in particular a deepening emotional connection and understanding in relationships. You might have a heightened sense of safety and protection in relationships, enhanced ability to express love and affection, increased sensitivity and empathy towards others. Archetypically, you might have this, the mother, the great loving mother. You might have the passionate soulmate, the protective empath, the nurturer, and the romantic. Anytime you have Mars and Venus together, that also inspires passion. But with the water sign, it's much more about love, togetherness, and, maybe even the mystical realm like telepathy and really truly understanding a deeper level of each other. Then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the parade of planets. I think that's everywhere in the mainstream. And what they're talking about is once the sun goes down, depends on where you are, but the sun has to go away because it's so bright. Then you will see Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, and Mars up in the sky. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets so far, and 2 of those will be to the unseen without a telescope. But if you had a telescope, you should be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets on Sunday the 26th. And imagine after we get our moon past the new moon, then you'll have the moon up here in the parade. Some people are talking about Mercury, since it's so fast, will be going past the sun, and I think it's getting into like late February or mid-February. But I don't know. I'm not convinced that we'll have enough angle to be able to see Mercury, but we'll see. Some people are talking about that in February and March, but I don't know yet. But right now, you can definitely see these planets, just not Uranus and Neptune with the naked eye. And that will be after sunset. Monday, the 27th, the big highlight is at 8:52 p.m. Central Standard Time. Mercury goes into Aquarius. And Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Really pretty cool. Mercury in Aquarius greatly enhances the intellectual prowess and communication skills. Everything that we talked about is enhanced with Mercury in Aquarius. Heightened ability to think outside the box, explore unconventional ideas, and express oneself with originality and innovation. Inventor thinks of new things, new ways of doing things. May feel enhanced mental agility, increased ability to see patterns, opportunity to break free from limiting thought patterns. But you might have a tendency towards intellectual arrogance or superiority. I see that a lot. Risk of becoming overly detached or emotionally distant. The archetype might be the genius, the freethinker, the intellectual. You can also think about the thought rebel, the communicator, the visionary, etc. But as you can see, immediately sees a faceful of Pluto. So let's talk about that, since Tuesday the 28th, we're going to get into a real tight alignment with Pluto. Mercury and Pluto in early Aquarius. It intensifies the mental focus and communication with a powerful transformative energy. This is very synergistic with the rebel, or the change of Uranus, or change of Aquarius. The conjunction encourages deep exploration of ideas, uncovering hidden truths, and challenging the status quo. It amplifies the ability to influence others through persuasive and penetrating communication. You obviously still have the Mercury in Aquarius that we talked about before, but in addition, you have heightened ability to uncover hidden motives or agendas, powerful persuasion and influence, especially when you communicate, opportunity to bring about significant change through ideas and words. Now you have not just the thinker or the overthinker, you have the deep thinker You have the master persuader, the secret keeper, the mental alchemist, and the shadow whisperer. And here's the big day. All right, this is the new moon in Aquarius. It happens at 6:35 a.m. Central Standard Time on 29th of January. And this is the new moon in Aquarius that brings a surge of innovative and progressive energy, rebellious energy. The lunar phase encourages us to encourage and embrace our unique individuality and break free from conventional norms. It is a time to focus on future goals and aspirations, particularly those related to humanitarian causes, social justice, individual liberty, truth exploration, and technological advancements. The archetypes with this new moon is mad scientist, social reformer, and cosmic rebel. But as you can see, there's so much more than just the new moon. We already know there's Mercury conjunct. We already know there's Pluto conjunct. And we also have the new moon with trine, a pretty tight trine over to Jupiter. That's just a little over 1.5 degrees, so it's pretty tight. And Jupiter brings an air of expansiveness and philosophical optimism in the world of mind, and it's also in an air sign. So we have the stellium, and part of that, the major part of it, the new moon, trine over to Jupiter. So we have a stellium of 4 planets. In the first decan, the decans are separating each zodiac sign into 10-degree blocks. And this is in the first degree, or the first decan, not first degree, first 10 degrees, so first decan, making it stellium extra special, extra Aquarian, because it's in the first decan. Plus, there's that 1.5 degree orb trine over to Jupiter. So delineating all that is important, and this becomes a very potent blend of transformative energy, heightened communication, very expansive thinking, very expansive status quo breaking, paradigm shifting communication. It intensifies the drive for change, for truth seeking, disclosure, self-expression. The trine to Jupiter in Gemini expands everything, promotes optimism. There's a air of, it's one thing to be like a rebel or complainer. This is not complaining. This is a rebel that encourages and promises hope and brings about an air of optimism with it. There's also curiosity with Gemini, and the ability, also Gemini, to see a lot of different perspectives. So the ability to synergize with this rebellious energy. The archetype could be the status quo obliterator, the observant genius, the avant-garde visionary. Remember, it's all in the first decan as a stellium, so extra Aquarian, the rebellious persuader with Pluto in there. And it's all optimistic. By the way, since this is the energy stamp at the new moon, that means that the whole energy cycle, the whole lunar cycle, is this energy. So you're going to see and feel that it's not just going to be that one day of radical paradigm shifting urges and thoughts. It's going to be a whole lunar cycle. So 30 days of this. Expect it. And here you have it. Here's the I-Ching. It rung in as 49, hexagram 49 with change line 3. Change line 3 is really focused on the timing of it all. But hexagram 49 is the revolution. Change often causes conflict, and conflict brings about change. This hexagram refers to a time in the cycle of human affairs when things are stirring up, and the hint of dramatic change is in the air. Line 3, timing is especially important. Putting it all together, you might feel caught in a transitional space where timing becomes critically important to your process of change. You may sense a strong internal pressure to make changes, accompanied by feelings of restlessness and urgency. However, you might simultaneously experience doubt about whether the moment is truly right for action. This can create an uncomfortable tension in your body. There could be a nagging worry about whether you're acting too hastily, and the changing third line suggests you might experience particular distress about timing and method of your personal revolution. All right, let's summarize all this and get to the solution. We have a revolution picture. This transformative week starts off with a unique astrological alignment. It's not the alignment's unusual, it's the timing of the alignment is very unusual. Uranus, Mars, and Mercury with the rebel at the helm, that's Uranus, of softening a conflict between practical achieving mindsets versus protecting what you care about. By the end of the week, Mercury has entered Aquarius to join a 4-planet stellium in the first decan at the time of the new moon in Aquarius. This week is a time of seeking liberty, humanitarian worries, sudden strikes of mental insights, and shattering the status quo. It's an air of revolution. And that's what we'll be covering in our solution. But first, let me give you some background. Put the change line in, and you get 17 following. Well, that's weird. 17 and following is weird. Choosing to follow good influences brings supreme success. Isn't that odd? Don't you guys think? Odd 17. You will benefit from cultivating adaptable and responsive behaviors while maintaining clear inner direction. You might want to practice being more observant of those in leadership positions. What's going to be highlighted this week is the leader-follower paradigm or continuum. And so it's going to be in your best interest to observe that. Not to be one or the other, but to observe it and lead when you can or when you're being called to. In your interactions, try to be more responsive rather than reactive. When others speak, you might practice deeper listening. In decision-making, try to move neither ahead nor behind the natural timing of events. Practice waiting for the right moment. Especially since you had some timing issues with our revolutionary change hexagram. It's the timing is in question or is in conflict. All right, here's our conversion chart. This is where we convert tropical. The new moon is at 9 degrees, 51 minutes of tropical Aquarius. That puts us into the Rave Mandala at 19, hexagram 19 or gate 19. And Sidereal Capricorn. We convert over to Sidereal because we want to, if you're standing right in the middle here and you want to be able to see this new moon, you're going to see it in Sidereal Capricorn. If you're actually standing on the earth, well, obviously you're not going to see the new moon. You're just going to see the sun. The new moon is dark. It is unobservable, but you'll be able to see the unobservable moon at Sidereal Capricorn. And we do that so we can get in alignment with the stars with our actions or behaviors while still maintaining the influence of the tropical. All right, the Rave 19, line 3 says dedication, receptivity to approach can only be maintained through vigilance. So let's put it all together, shall we? Here we go. We have hexagram 17 of the I-Ching. It's following. We have the rave says communion is maintained. And then we have the moon phase. Generally, the whole week is waning crescent. And then the very last day is the new moon. So waning crescent, we have different behaviors than we would have at the new moon. But they are related. And then we have Sidereal Capricorn. So number one overlap is honor the waning crescent moon most of the week. And what that means is your typical waning moon, it's about conservation. Don't be wasting energy. No big projects. Rejuvenate yourself. Lots of introspection. Lots of not self-judgment, but reviewing your month. How did you do? Did you carry out your goals? How well did you do? It doesn't mean you're not allowed to go out and socialize, but there is a lot more, I guess, alone time. Rejuvenating is easier in that regard. But at the new moon, then we're going to be shifting your mindsets towards designing, planning, vision boarding, goal setting. Your goals are going to be in alignment with Aquarius. That's the tropical. We align goals with tropical. When you go set out your goals, then you do that in accordance with the stars, which is sidereal. The other alignment that you have here in the solution is the leader-follower continuum is in most social situations. Respond instead of react. Observe leaders and emulate leadership if it makes sense to do so. And emulate leaders means you're also validating or invalidating whether or not the self-proclaimed leaders are worthy of your followership. So be discretionary there. So be the leader if it makes sense to do so. Otherwise, follow, synchronize, harmonize, be adaptable. Be adaptable. Be adaptable. Never know what's going to happen here. Now, if in the social environment, don't stay longer than is accepted. Pay attention to the timing. That's very critical. That was both in our I-Ching influence and our I-Ching solution. Pay attention to timing and also the acceptance levels from others. Don't overstay your welcome, right? It's a little bit different than last week with the Irish goodbye. This week is really pay attention to your intuition, but the reading of the room for rightness of staying. So what's the social layout for this week? Well, our first is following. So that's definitely bodes well for social engagement. Number two, communion is maintained, but ironically, it's the insight you get from aloneness or being introspective that gives you the insights to, to properly be together or to continue together. So that doesn't say one or the other. That could go either way. Number three, the moon phase, probably a little more or a little less social. And number four, sidereal Capricorn. Not that Capricorns can't be social. That's far from true. But they're a lot more task-oriented. They're not more social-oriented. So I think that's a decrease. I'd say overall, it is generally a little more slided towards introspection and isolation. But there is an element of social engagement too. Not to be expected of you, but if you wanted social, I could see that being successful this week. In our yin yang profile, and this is the behavioral profile, I think, because the dominant part of the week is the waning crescent moon. The new moon is also very yin. So we should probably get in alignment with that as well. So being a lot more yin is everything we talked about: introspection, conservation of energy, receiving, rejuvenating, not big outputs, not talking a lot, more listening than talking. Listening is a form of receiving. Relaxing instead of tensing. Tensing is more of a yang thing. So relaxing. Relax this week and relax some more, even with all this radical paradigm shifting urges coming on. Can you see that? Can you visualize that? So internal, you really are maybe complaining, maybe optimistically with that trine over to Jupiter. So visualize yourself thinking along new things, like all this new stuff is coming down. You're trying to assimilate it all, and then you have your own ideas of what would be revolutionary or ideal. And then try to relax in that. That could be hard for a lot of us, because any type of change starts to tense us up as we start to like gear up for change. So don't do that. Relax, breathe. You can have both. You can have feelings of or urges for change and status quo and rebel and all this stuff, rebellious thoughts, and yet be physically relaxed. That's where you want to be. Okay. Any questions there? That's a difficult one. You have to be very conscious. You have to be very mindful of this. It's not like you're trying to get rid of radical thoughts or paradigm shifting thoughts, but we're not countering them. That's a yang thing. All right. So yin, physically yin this week as much as you can. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to work out or do anything, but the majority of your week is concentrating on relaxing and getting back energy, maybe sleeping more. Not that you sleep all day. You get it. Stay balanced. All right. That's it, everybody. Enjoy your rebellious week in a relaxed state. Okay. And we'll see where this world goes. Where we go on, we go all. Take care, everybody. Namaste. See you next week.